Welcome to Connecting to Spirit with Stacey, a weekly journey into the spiritual world with evidential medium Stacey Tuesday. With nearly 10 years of experience offering transformative private, group, and platform readings, Stacey is also a passionate mentor, guiding students for over 5 years to unlock their intuitive gifts. She is the author of 2 impactful books, My Head Knows, But My Heart Still Hurts, a 30-day grief recovery journal, and My Crystal Addiction Diary, an exploration of crystal and stone energy for healing. So please welcome the host of Connecting to Spirit, Stacey Tuesday.
Hi, welcome to Connecting to Spirit. I am evidential medium Stacey Tuesday, and I am your connection to spirit tonight for this hour where we talk about things that, maybe you're not comfortable in talking with other people about, whether it is your spiritual path or whether it's opening up to spirit or meditation. And tonight, just like every other night, I've chosen a topic and we're going to talk about mindfulness. Mindfulness seems to be a real buzzword in the spiritual realm when you're, walking your spiritual path or when you're trying to find balance and alignment. Mindfulness is one of those words that you hear all the time. So I want to do, just like Mel Robbins says, I want to unpack it a little bit and talk to you about that. And I looked up actually what the definition of mindfulness was, and I thought that I would start with that. So it's a state of being present and aware of one's thoughts, one's feelings, and bodily sensations without judgment, non reactive, curious, and compassionate attitude towards the present moment. It's a valuable tool that helps promote well being, reduces stress, and enhances emotional regulation. Well, I'm all on board for that. What do you think? If it's going to be something that's going to help me to reduce stress and look at things without judgment, I feel like this is something that we should all look at very closely. So I was reading some different, and I read all different types of books, and there was a Buddhist philosopher, I'm sure you've heard of him. It's Thich Nhat Hanh, and he wrote that mindfulness was like enjoying a good cup of tea. And I love that analogy of being mindful and a good cup of tea because you're completely in the moment. And he calls it aware and present. So if you're going to have a good cup of tea, you want to be aware, you want to be present. You want to be able to and I've got my tea here with me tonight. You pick, a certain cup. This cup says, when it rains, look for the rainbows. When it's dark, look for the stars. So you choose a specific cup that you want and a flavor of tea, and there's a texture of how the cup feels in your hand. And oh, the aroma, you pick your tea bag, what's it going to smell like? This one is a Christmas tea. So it's got all that savory Christmassy scents. And I know we're past Christmas, but it's snowing. So, humor me. Um, but when you think about, you breathe that aroma in and it fills up your nose and it just makes you smile and it's this pleasant fragrance, then you anticipate the savory sweetness of this gently coming, this warmth that you put in your cup and you put up to your lips and you take a drink and it's this taste that you have that, trickles down your throat and warms up the body and you're just breathing it in and enjoying the full experience. You're paying attention to, I just want to sit and relax for a minute and have a cup of tea. I'm going to have my cup, morning cup of coffee, however you want to look at it. But before the day starts or at the end of the day, you want to slow down and just enjoy things and be mindful of these different things. If you have your cup of tea and you're doing 14 other things and you're thinking about your day and your problems and you completely miss the experience as you're sipping away at your tea and the next thing you know your cup is empty. Well, Isn't that kind of how life is? Our cup gets filled, our cup gets empty. But are we paying attention to the things that are surrounding us? Are we mindfully paying attention to the way, the fresh snow smells or how it feels? And, are we taking a moment to just breathe? Or do we just keep packing things on of things that we need to do? So there's all these wonderful, special, delectable moments and opportunities that wait for us every single day. Every moment of the day, there's something that's special. And unless we notice those blessings, they all just kind of disappear quickly, eerily, and we miss them. But if we look at no matter how large or how small something is, if we're mindful of it, we're appreciating it. We're paying attention to it. We're noticing it. And I feel as if that's all part of our spiritual journey. To wake up, they say wake up and smell the roses or smell the coffee. Worrying about the future, regretting the past, it's a waste of time. The past is already past, the future's not even here yet. Why wouldn't we concentrate on this particular moment in time? For those of you who know me, I am a big Tom Petty freak. And he has this lyric in this one song that's always jumped out at me. And it goes, most things I worry about never happen anyway. So we sit and we worry about things or we regret past experiences. And as we're worrying, we're missing what's happening right here, right now. When it's past, it's past. Learn from it and allow yourself to move on and be present in what is available for you to experience right here, right now. And it's funny how I described a simple cup of tea and being mindful of how it felt, how the cup felt in your hand, and how you choose what the cup is, and the flavor and the warmth of the water, and the taste and the aroma and how it feels, and it warms your body. It's a cup of tea. But sometimes don't you feel like we put more effort into what flavor tea we're going to have today? What cup of coffee, what flavor, what latte, what mocha, whatever that we have, instead of experiencing the hundreds of special moments that happen every day. And those moments when you worry about things and when you regret things, all of a sudden those special moments dissolve away. It's like putting the sugar in hot water. It goes away. And fear and worry can be so debilitating that we forget what's present, what's going on right now, what I have control of right here, right now. Where's my energy at? Is it in the past? Is it in the future? Or is it right now? And when I think about worry and regret and not being mindful, when I think about those emotions that pop into my head, I look at them as if they're peeping toms in my brain. They got no business being there. They just show up, pop through, peek around, make a disturbance, and then they leave. But when you turn that brain off, that peeping Tom, and you kick him out of your head, all of a sudden you start to be mindful of the beautiful things that are around you, that each day offers to you and brings to you. It's sad to think, or how do I want to say that? It's eye-opening to think that every single day that we live is a closer day to the day that we pass. So why wouldn't we want to live every single day to the best of our ability, savoring every single moment, just like I'm going to savor my cup of tea? Just like I'm going to take time. You see people, they'll grab a blanket, they'll sit in a rocking chair, they'll go out with their coffee or their tea, or they'll sit on their front porch and they'll just drink their cup of coffee or their cup of tea. But you're trying to have a conversation with them later and they're there sitting there on their phone. Uh-huh. Yep, yep. So I challenge you to be mindful of certain things, of new experiences, because like your cup of tea, I want you to drink in all the moments that the universe is handing to you. Don't miss it. It's like when you go to the movies, you want to get there beforehand and get a good seat. You don't want to miss the beginning of the movie. But every single day we're preoccupied with things and we're missing special parts of our day. I often think about some of the special moments that I've missed because I was preoccupied. I was, either working and doing something, or my mind was wondering about something, or I was worried about how I was going to be able to do something. And I missed special moments that I'm never going to get back. And even though those moments are gone and I'm never going to get those back, why wouldn't I start now to be more mindful of things, to pay attention of things? And I was thinking to myself, what are some of my favorite things? Like when you think about what's your favorite scent? What's your favorite feeling? What's your favorite song? Why? Why does that song touch your heart? Why does that scent, what does it do to your senses, to your mind, to your body, to your spirit? Like, why is it your favorite? Above all, like, why is this your favorite? You know, I absolutely love the way clean sheets on my bed feel and smell, especially flannel sheets in the wintertime. They're warm and they're comfy. And they just have this, I don't know, it's not really a protective feeling, but I feel comfortable. It makes me feel at home. And the way that the sheets, they've got this scent to them, just like towels that you hang out on a line. It reminds me of home. This is my home. It reminds me of coming back here to myself, to being aware of the things that bring me joy, no matter how large or how small. So when we get back, we're going to break for a minute. We're going to talk about some other mindful things. And while we're on this break, if this sounds like something a friend of yours might benefit from, feel free to share this episode with them. We're on Bold Brave Media, YouTube, Spotify, but share it during the break and you can always rewatch it as well. We'll be right back.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and TuneIn Radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Hi, welcome back to Connecting to Spirit. I'm your connection evidential medium, Stacey Tuesday. And before the break, we were talking about awareness. We were talking about how to pay attention to life, like you pay attention to a cup of tea. So when I'm thinking about all the things, all those small things that I enjoy so much, and I was talking about how fresh sheets, made me feel, and those special moments that when I curl up in my bed and I have two Chihuahuas. I have Roxy and Rebel, and they lay on either side of me, and it's like they're bookends. But they're on either side within hand's reach to me, or they're underneath the covers while I'm sitting there and I'm reading. But it's that comforting feeling to know that these small little animals, no matter what I do or say to them, they love me. And I adore them. They bring me comfort. They're such a blessing to me, and I enjoy them so much. Other things, it's that I try to be in the moment with, that I try to be mindful of. Another favorite thing, however you want to say it, it's very rare that I can get all of my kids and all of my grandkids in one room together. And every year we do pumpkin carving, where we all get together and we carve pumpkins. And it's the smell of the pumpkins. It's the faces on the jack-o'-lanterns, and listening to the kids and the grandkids, think about what design they're going to do. It's the conversations that they have. It's the laughter when they're bobbing for apples. It's the small things, but it's one of my favorite things. Good grief, this year I mentioned to my oldest granddaughter, and she's 16. And I mentioned to her, I was like, maybe we shouldn't bob for apples anymore. Are you guys getting too old for that? Well, good Lord, you would have thought I ripped her fingernails off of her the way she turned around and looked at me. But it was me then being mindful that, what, this isn't just important to me. This is a memory for them as well. Now, when we're sitting and we're carving pumpkins and we're doing all of this, our hands are in the pumpkins and with all the pumpkin guts. So very few times do you see any of us pick our phones up and do something like that. But we're being mindful of each other. But it's so weird to me as I was thinking about this. I'm like, oh, as I'm just thinking about it, I can like smell the way the pumpkins smell, you know, and how we take the pictures of them and have the candles in them. But it's that fun tradition that we've put together, that when we're together, we're mindful of each other, or I'm mindful of the time that I have with them. I love deep conversations with my husband. Absolutely adore my husband. And I'm not always good at it. I try to be mindful to say to him, hold on, let me finish this thought. I'm either emailing or texting somebody. I try to put the phone down. I'll turn and I look at him as he's talking to me. It's the tone of his voice. It's the sparkle in his eye. It's the things that he's saying that makes me laugh. Or, I know without a doubt, no matter what I need at any time, he'll figure it out. He's mindful of what my needs are, and I'm mindful of what his needs are. So it's practicing all of this to pay attention to those special moments. It's to try and be present with not only others, but with yourself as well. I remember a few years ago, one day, I mean, the shop was really hectic and I was really busy with appointments. And I just said to my husband, Jeff, I need to get away from the shop. I need to get out of here. And he was like, where do you want to go? I'm like, I don't care. So one of his favorite things is always to just say, you know what, let's go for a ride and get lost. And that's what we did. We went and we just drove. And it was a nice day. I had the window down. The sun was on my face. I'm like a pup with my face in the sun. And while we're driving down the road, I'm noticing all the greens and the in the grass and how the sky looks. And all of a sudden in the mountains, this bear crossed the road. Now I've seen bear before, but I've never seen one in person. I've never seen one up close. I've seen them on TV or at the zoo or whatever. But it was the coolest thing. We pulled over and just kind of watched. And I remember I was like all excited, wanted to take pictures. And I remember even before I did anything, my husband was just like, "You're not going to get out of the vehicle if that's what you're thinking," which I wasn't, but I probably was. And we watched to see if this was a baby bear and mama bear was there. But we just kind of watched him toddle across the road. And I remember saying to Jeff, this made my day. This is exactly what I needed. I needed to get present with nature, with what was going on around me, with him, because things have gotten so out of hand and we get so out of touch with each other sometimes. It's those special moments. And that's even though I mean, everybody's like, yeah, it's a bear, it's the mountains, whatever. But it was a special time for me because I had never seen this. And it's savoring those moments instead of had I been on my phone, had I been talking to somebody, had I had my notebook out or reading a book, which I often do while we're driving, I would have missed it. It's those special moments. It's drinking in life like savoring a good cup of tea. Oh my God. Like, hello. I never really thought about things like this. And when you think about, you heat the tea up in the kettle or, you nuke it, but I would rather put it in a tea kettle and listen to the kettle go off and choose your flavor. Do I want honey or don't I want honey? It's that belief in knowing that each and every special moment was given to us for that moment. Like, that past, but what I just said, that moment's gone right now. So how do I stay present? I slow down. I tune in with myself. I meditate. It's mindfulness. It's how does the water feel when you're washing the dishes? Or how does the sun feel on your face? Checking in to see how does it make you feel? What is the difference between how the sun feels on your face on a cold day and how the sun feels on your face on a warm day? What's the difference in sitting and talking to an adult about a conversation and sitting eye to eye and talking to your child or your grandkid about the same conversation? It's mindfulness. We have to be mindful. No judgment. How did I read this? It's non-reactive, curious, and compassionate attitude towards that specific moment. Because when we become mindful of things and we clear the mind, yeah, all of a sudden, the chaos in the mind, that peeping Tom, stops, even if it's for a brief moment, and we find clarity. All of a sudden, we have the answer to something that we were looking for. Mindfulness is part of your intuition. If you're on a spiritual journey, if you were connecting to spirit, if you want to speak to or connect with your guides and your angels, you need to be mindful of them. Paying attention to what's around you. What was that little flash that went by my eye? Oh, what was that little light? Oh, I've got this weird vibration feeling in my hands. Oh, music makes me feel a certain way. That's all mindfulness. Have you ever really sat and thought about how mindful you are of things? Or does your day just rush by? I want you just to think about when you drive home from work. Do you remember every single turn or every single stop sign, or are you on autopilot? Because being on autopilot can be pretty dangerous. Oh, did I stop at that stop sign or did I just go through it? Being mindful allows you to pay attention to the things that are important for your mind, your body, and your spirit instead of falling into worry and frustration and anger and disappointment and depression. I'm mindfully searching for those special moments, that gourmet flavor of my tea, of my day. What special thing is going to happen today? What special thing did happen today? And it's looking for it and being mindful of it. Because if you go through each and every day without finding something to be grateful for or some type of blessing, your days are just going to buzz by. I mean, I swear, yesterday I was 30. I swear. And all of a sudden, I'm not 30 anymore. My granddaughter was just born 4 days ago. I swear. She's 16. The other one's 14, like almost 15, and 11, and 12, and 9. And it's like, where did this happen? When did it happen? Where did I miss the smell of fresh washed baby, of my grandchild, of my own kids? So if you're mindful of those special moments and you talk about those special moments, all of a sudden those special moments aren't just your special moments because you're talking to other people about them and you're highlighting your day. And it does something to your inner vibration, your inner spirit. If I'm going to live the life I love and love the life I live, I need to be present in it. And I know there's the old saying, that's why they call it present, because it's a present. Each and every day is a present. But it's looking for those blessings, those small blessings. When I would spend time with my 99-year-old uncle and he would tell me a story, I remember just like looking at the lines in his face and of his hands. And, he would always hold my hand or put his hand on mine, and the veins that were in it was being mindful of the lines in his face, of the tone in his voice, of those special stories, even if I heard them 100 times. Mindfulness. So it's the state of being present and aware. I want to challenge you. Are you present? My husband always says you have to, pay attention to your surroundings. He sees freaking everything. I swear. We could be driving down the road and he'll go, oh, there was a red-tailed fox. And I'm like, how did you see that while you were driving? But he pays attention to the surroundings. He takes in those small things, oh, smell this flower. Look what I did with this plant. Look how this looks. It's being mindful. It's sharing a cup of tea with someone else. If you pay that much attention to the cup that you pick, the flavor that you pick, the temperature of the water, you're anticipating the scent and the savoriness and, honey or no honey or sugar and, oh, I'm cold, so this is going to warm me up. You're spending that much time on a cup of tea. Gosh darn it, why don't you spend? Gosh darn it. Boy, that sounded old school, didn't it? Why don't you pay attention to the mindfulness within yourself? I'm no counselor. I'm no psychologist. But if you're mindful and you look for the good things, all of a sudden, if you're having a bad day, the day gets a little bit brighter. I promise you, it will. So, how do we be mindful? Meditation. Stopping for a minute, taking a deep breath. You don't have to kumbaya for an hour. It's just getting in touch with your breath. Mindfulness. If you know a friend of yours needs something and you have it, Get it to them. Mindfulness. You're thinking about somebody. Send them a text. Hey, you crossed my mind. Hope everything's okay. Once a day, send a random text to a friend. Let them know that they are on your mind. You're being mindful. And I tell you, your relationship with them person will change. All of a sudden, they're going to say, oh my gosh, she appreciates me. Mindfulness. Holding the door for someone when you're walking in the grocery store. Letting someone go ahead of you. It's all paying attention to what the world around you needs. And if you have it to give, offer it. So, we're going to take a quick break. But like I said, if you feel like one of your friends could benefit from talking about mindfulness, share the episode with them. But we'll be right back in a few minutes. Hang with us.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays, 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around and hanging out with me for this hour on Connecting the Spirit with Stacey. I'm your connection during this hour with the spirit realm. I'm just trying to talk to you a little bit about mindfulness and how you can connect or reconnect with yourself and with others that are around you through a simple mindful exercise of paying attention to the things that are around you. A couple months ago, I got mindful that I wasn't reading as much as what I used to. I love to read. I mean, I can just like the pages, I just devour them. And it's the way the book feels in my hand, the way the pages smell, the way it sounds when I turn the page. Sometimes I'll highlight a page, sometimes I won't, or put sticky notes in there. And when I'm thinking about mindfulness, I've been recently reading a book about shadow work, and I talked this morning on Tuesday Talks at 10:30 on my social media of Connecting to Spirit about shadow work and how shadow work is that deep journey within yourself to find out what your triggers are. Things that maybe you hide from other people or that you don't remember, you don't want certain people to see the way that you are. And I feel as if the two kind of go hand in hand. Because if you do shadow work and you are doing this inner journey in yourself and you're finding what your triggers are, all of a sudden, you're mindful of how your body feels about certain things, how emotions feel about certain things, certain songs, certain words, certain places that you're at. Have you ever walked into a place and you just got anxious all of a sudden? Maybe it was the energy that was around you, maybe it reminded you of something, but you're being mindful of, oh, I feel anxious. Maybe I shouldn't be in here. Maybe the energy is telling me to come out. But being mindful that sometimes you need to be a little bit selfish. And sometimes you need to take time for yourself. Because when you don't take care of yourself, you're not good to anybody else. You get cranky, you get snappy. There's sometimes I just don't want to talk to anybody. I just need a moment. Just leave me alone for a little while. I'll just get quiet and I'm not mad, I'm not upset. I've talked to a lot of people during the day or answered a lot of emails or done a lot of readings. But I am mindful that my body, my spirit, my energy just needs to go, shh, let's just be quiet for a minute. I'm mindful of that. And if you start to notice things that trigger you, things that upset you or make you feel depressed, then you can mindfully make a decision as to whether you want that flavor of tea in your water. Maybe there's a certain group of people that, you know what, you just don't mesh with anymore. So maybe you're not going to go out to dinner with them or, see them as often as what you used to. Maybe certain shows on TV bother you. You know what? Turn them off. Turn the freaking news off and turn the music on. Listen to the music. Be mindful of how that vibration feels within yourself. I really think mindfulness is making you full of what's in your mind, of what's in your spirit, and what's in your energy. And when you do shadow work, it's that inner journey within yourself. What do I need? Why did this happen? How can I change it? What did I learn from it? And where's the blessing in it? Because no matter what the situation is, there is always a blessing in the chaos. But you have to mindfully be aware of it and say, oh, I saw what you did there. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, guides. Thank you, Mom. Bring more to me. Help me to receive all the gifts that you want to give to me gently. And I will be mindful of the ones that you send. And if I miss them, send them again so that I can see them. It's all part of slowing down. We're so fast paced anymore. You know, when I was a kid, we had to get up and turn the channel on the TV. And it was 4, 8, 11, and 25. Those were our channels. If the phone rang during dinner, it was an interruption. They'll call back. If they don't need us. But we've gotten so quick with all the technologies and our cell phones and the internet and Google and, all this stuff has made us so efficient that we forget how to be mindful and be creative. Do you paint? Do you like to hike? Do you like to write? Have you done it lately? Or are you watching a YouTube channel on how to hike the Appalachian Trail? Are you watching a YouTube channel about Bob Ross painting his happy little trees? Are you sending your work and letting IA or AI, isn't that funny? I don't even know which one it is, regenerate it for you? You're not being mindful of the things that you have to offer for the universe. And I hope that I'm not talking in circles with all of this. But I swear, after reading the analogy of a simple cup of tea, it kind of changed my whole view on what mindfulness is. Think about it. There's all this care in harvesting the tea leaves and then putting them in a package that makes the packaging appealing to someone else to purchase them. that the aroma is so unbelievable and the flavor is so savory. I mean, a cup of tea is not a cup of tea anymore. We just had the little Lipton's tea before. You put lemon in it. Maybe you don't. But now, like I said, this one is, what is this? It's Christmas something. Denise got it for me. I don't remember what it was. But when you drink it, it feels like Christmas, you know? Pumpkin spice during, what do you call it? The Halloween and Thanksgiving. They're mindful of all of our senses that are around us, of how to entice us to do things. So why aren't we mindful of how to entice ourselves, how to live a happy life, how to harvest memories for future generations? Sitting around the kitchen table with your kids, with your grandkids, are you having a conversation? Or is everybody on their phone? My husband and I go out to dinner and we'll see a young couple that looks like they're dating. Neither one of them are talking to each other. They're on their phone. I'm like, come on, man. Put the phone down, have a conversation. I love deep conversations and things that are thought provoking. I love talking about books and different ways to do certain things and different, the way that the mind works, the way that spirit works. It's so freaking interesting to me. Past lives and the reasons why with shadow work. But why did this happen? Well, why did this happen? But why? Until you finally draw it back to your life because of this. And you're like, oh my God. If something triggers you, if you can take the time to say, what's the story behind this? What's the first time that I can relate to this situation? And something will pop up. You will get some thought in your head where you go, oh, I know what that is. Okay. All right. I remember, and I talked about this on Tuesday Talks this morning. When I grew up, right? It was always said, what will the neighbors think? What will the neighbors think? It was always this big worry about what the neighbors would think if. And then that taught me to worry about what other people think about what I do. How's this going to look? What I wear, how's that going to look? How I speak, how's that going to look? How's that going to come off? And although there's a respect and there's a training, I guess is the lack of a better word, a process of doing things, I feel like we lose our uniqueness because of what will the neighbors think? Or in my house, growing up, kids were to be seen and not heard. The adults went here and played cards or whatever, and all the kids went down here and, watched TV, or we went outside and, you know, didn't come back in until the lights went up. But the thought of me hearing in my head, what will the neighbors think? And to be seen and not heard makes me feel almost as if sometimes I need to be a people pleaser. Sometimes I don't want my voice being heard or my opinion being heard. I can definitely be super introverted or super extroverted. All depends on the situation. Sometimes I just want to sit back in the corner and watch people. I don't want to approach them and say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And my name is Stacey, and isn't this a great event that we're at? I want them to approach me because it's uncomfortable for me, seen and not heard. But I've gotten to the point, or I'm working on it, where I will approach people that I don't necessarily know at events and introduce myself. I'll say hi, you know, try and learn the person's name. I'm not always great with names, but it's being mindful of the people who are around me, but also being mindful of the things that make me uncomfortable, why they make me uncomfortable, and how to get unstuck. Does it make sense? I think it should, because I feel like this isn't just me. I don't feel like sometimes my husband, Jeff, and I will look at each other about certain situations and we'll go, is it us? Do other people feel this way? But I really feel like we've lost mindfulness. We've lost touch with ourselves. And when we get back, we're just going to, kind of wrap it up a little bit. I'm going to give you something to think about, but I will see you in a few minutes. So hang out with me.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network, and tune in radio as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Hey, welcome back to Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. I am your connection to spirit during this hour, and we have unpacked, we have talked about, we have defined mindfulness. We've talked about how a simple cup of tea and the pleasure that we can take into this simple cup of tea, from choosing the cup to the flavor, to the temperature of the water, to if we want honey in it or lemon in it or whatever, and sitting back in a soft chair and sitting outside with the breeze, feeling how it feels in your hands, warming your hands, going down your throat, warming up your belly, making you feel better. It's only a cup of tea. Imagine if you spent that much mindfulness on yourself on a daily basis. To take the time to say, what do I need today? What blessings are around me today? How can I reconnect with myself? How can I be mindful of the people who are around me? What is it that I can do for other people? Because truly, your life is a cluster of those small, beautiful moments that create memories for generations to come. And when you clump them all together, it's just this feeling of love and security and accomplishment. Mindfulness is defined as a state of being present and aware of one's feelings and thoughts and bodily sensations without judgment. So I'm going to sit in my own power, pay attention to me, and think about where I've been, where I'm going, the blessings that have been given to me, the blessings that I've been able to give to others. It's non-reactive. That's a hard one. It's hard to be non-reactive to your own thought process sometimes. Being curious and compassionate in order to reduce stress and enhance emotional regulation. So, do you have highs and lows in your life? Are you really, really up and then really, really down? Do you get frustrated easy? Be mindful. What's frustrating me? Can I take a couple deep breaths? Can I slow down? Can I go pour a cup of tea for a second and chill the hell out and just go, you know what? Sometimes I have to walk away from projects. I'm mindful enough to know that if I don't walk away, I'm going to pick my laptop up and throw it across the room. We all are on this earth school, learning as much as we can so that when we enter into the spiritual realm, we'll have this wisdom and this knowledge that we've left for future generations to come. I don't know about you, but I truly want to live the life I love and love the life I live. I invite you every day, drink in life, drink in a cup of tea, be mindful, be present. Put the frickin' phone down for a second. Count your blessings every day. What's one thing I'm grateful for? What happened today that I'm grateful for? Oh my gosh, Denise made the best dinner. She made chicken that was in, I don't know, saute or not, what do you want to call it? Like basted in pickle juice with capers and potatoes. Oh my God, I'm thankful. What are you thankful for? They were calling for all this snow, all this ice that we were supposed to get. We got some. It's not as bad as what they were anticipating. We'll see what tomorrow morning's like. I'm thankful I'm in a nice warm house. I'm thankful when the phone rings and it's my husband saying, hello, darling. I'm thankful that even though my dogs drive me crazy, me and the one acts like a, blender with the lid off, I'm thankful that I have those little termites around me. They're dogs, they're not termites, but. But I am being mindful of the situations that are around me so that I can clear my thought process to raise my vibration and have better emotional health, a better connection with myself, growing relationships that are around me, having a better connection with them, being mindful of what my friends need. Isn't that what mindfulness is all about? The mind is full of what is needed. And if we pay attention enough and we are mindful enough, even if it's just a little bit, all of a sudden the people that surround you will start to notice a difference in you and think, what's she doing? What's different about her? And they're going to ask you, what's different about you? And then you can start to say, you know what? I was listening to this podcast on Bold Brave Media, Connecting to Spirit. And this evidential medium, Stacey Tuesday, was talking about mindfulness and gratefulness and shadow work. And oh my gosh, it's made such a difference in the way that I feel because it's the state of being present with you in this moment and talking with you so that we can live the life we love and love the life we live. Because if you're not, you're the only one that can change it. Gosh, you know what? I am so thankful for each and every one of you that hung out with me through this hour of connecting to spirit and listen to me talk about mindfulness. There's certain things that when I hear about them, all of a sudden, oh, I just get so passionate and I need to talk to you about it. And this is one of those things. Be mindful. Give yourself what you need. That time, that cup of tea, that special flavor, but drink in the life. Take a breath. Be mindful. And you know what? I will see you next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Bold Brave Media. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later. Peace out. Bye-bye.
This has been Connecting to Spirit with Stacey. Tune in each week as Stacey delves into the journey of life, healing, and spiritual connection, inviting listeners to open their hearts, clear their minds, and create the life they love. Right here, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network, powered by B2 Studios.